that we won't have the challenge we had in the hotel room for seats. But one of the things that John and I heard early on in the business was about getting there early and staying late and getting seats down front. I don't know what that has to do with success, except you seem to notice it a lot, happen that way. We got some people standing. I see some empty seats. Seems like a dichotomy. It's a dilemma. It's a paradox. Why is this happening? We have seats over here. We have seats down here. Hey, we got people here. We put them in the seats now. We don't save seats. Yeah, there's two right down front. Okay, Charlie? You gonna hold the wall up on that? Okay. Charlie, if you're comfortable, I'm not gonna bother you. Okay. May 22nd, I'll be doing another Emerald Open site to be announced later. That's a Monday night. Trying to mix the nights around there a little bit to, take care of your softball people. I saw a bumper sticker when we were going to speak up in, when I was down in Florida doing a rally down there. It says, drinking beer made me what I am today. And I thought, that kind of says it all. Can you see somebody getting that guy to a plan? All right, I've seen softball destroy more good young prospects in this business. Give up those games someday, boys. All right. That's about it for dates, because I don't want to spend too much on dates. But I do want to have you tell us if you had something exciting, or new distributors. Geez, I don't want to forget that. Who has new distributors they want to introduce? Mike. Almost forgot.
My name is Mike Canton. I'd like to introduce the online leader, Pat Bickler.
Pat, nice to meet you. It's like going to work, isn't it? Everybody claps for you? Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Tim Cannon. I'd like to introduce you down on the street here, Dr. Flayball.
Anybody else? Eric.
My name is Eric Scholler. This is my wife, Kathee, and we'd like to introduce Sandy Walker, who was here from a couple of meetings ago as one of our new distributors.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay. Good. Anybody have anything exciting happen in the business since we've been together? Last week I only had like 2 takers. I'm gonna lead it off tonight. We're taping for Florida and Chicago and Michigan, and I did just to tell you that what we're seeing is not just a regional phenomena or a statewide phenomena or something like that. I did 2 open meetings down in Orlando, Florida last Friday and Saturday. Were absolutely packed out. People are interested. People are coming there, and typical reaction, I've had this reaction about half a dozen times in the last month, people saying, Amway, yeah, I want to see that. I've heard a lot of good things about them lately. And that's kind of the undercurrent that I'm seeing when people are coming to see the presentation. So I want to congratulate the Florida group for a fantastic weekend. We passed the 2,500 pins to Tina Turner. They send their love and their organization. They'll be watching this tape, and we're really proud of them down there. And we've had some really packed out meetings in this area too. But does anybody have anything that they had happen that you want to share with the group? Boy, the bigger the group gets, the more intimidated everybody gets. Okay, nobody had nothing happen. Oh, Tim, I knew that we could get somebody, front row sitter, to come up here and brave the elements and tell somebody something.
We've had some unbelievable excitement in our business this past 2 weeks. Stacy and I have worked hard toward hitting the 18, and in doing so, we've passed 2 kits, and we're passing 2 more kits this week, so 4. The statistics hold true. We came home the other night, pushed the play button on our recorder, and a $150 order had come through the recorder. I asked Stacy what we do to get that $150 sale. Basically, it was just residual income. You'd be laying the groundwork the first time, and it continues to come thereafter. And I don't see my sister here yet. I know she's coming. They will be here late. But I'm going to go ahead and share something that happened to her, too. She had a beauty break. And I believe, Stacy, what was the total sale?
It was about $120.
$120 order and a beauty break, and so she was excited to get the cost and place that order as well. So good things happen.
Great. Jeff, there's 2 seats right down here, right in the front row here. Okay. Anybody else? Eric, come on down. this. I coerced him into this.
Put me up to this. Last night we had by the way, congratulations. The meeting we had last night, 2 people afterwards wanted to sign up right then, and fortunately we had kits. Neither I expected to sign, they both signed. 2 big players, we get them going, we'll retire. Thanks.
Eric being just a little bit modest, he and his upline, Kathee and Chuck, and some of their new downline just put together a dynamite meeting last night. Just the house was packed out, and it was so reminded me so much of when we started the business. It's uncanny because after the meeting, I was talking to their prospects, and Eric's over there. He's got what is that big piano there in the front room or something? He's got kits laid out on top of the piano, signing them up, and I says, "Go get them, you know, just get them in, get them rolling." And some of the prospects didn't want to leave. They just hung around and hung around, and I told Linda when I went home last night, I said, they had to have the impression at that meeting that the train was leaving the station. That's the impression you're trying to build with your business. Hey, the train's leaving the station. If you want to hop on board, fine. And so I'm talking to one, and the other ones are giving Kathee their orders, and she's racking them up, and Eric's in the front room, and he's passing kits and stuff like that. It was bedlam. I loved it. It was absolute chaos. That's the way it should be. You know, we can't have it like that every time, but it was really great last night. Okay, how are we doing for seats here? Pretty good? All right, good. Are these for the girls that are on the table out there? Okay. We got, want to thank the ladies and gentlemen that help out at the sessions, that take the time to, you know, they don't get paid for that, in case you wondered. They're not like, that's not a concession stand out there. And they volunteer. We like them to have, you know, certain levels of excellence in that before we ask them. It's an honor to do it, and we really appreciate the guys who are hanging around out there and answering questions about tapes, and the ladies for taking care of that, because it's a lot of work. And we do it because, as John Sestina says, and I heard John Crow talk about it too, you know, we build the group, and then our group can build. And I know our plugins can appreciate that. And I mean, if the total organization, the grid organization, and break it down into its constituent parts, whatever, the bigger if you can see that organization get, that's, at least you know your organization can get that big, because you can feed off of that same group. And you know, if we had 4 or 5 people here at these sessions, and you bring your people in, you know, what are they going to see? 4 or 5 people. That's how big they'll see the business. And you know, we had a goal to pack this place out by the end of the school year. We just have this till the end of the school year. And I'd say we're about packed out. So we'll be back up into the, we'll have Zion Lutheran starting in June, Linda? Mm-hmm. We got it lined up for June, so you know, we can put more people in there. And I dare say by next fall, we're probably coming back here will be a moot point. This happened to us the last time we used to use this room. And it was funny, we were strapped for a room during the Lenten season there at the church. And I said to Linda, I said, well, why don't we check Walker? I said, I have a lot of good memories about there. We started out some of our sessions here. And we got like this. We got too many people in here, so we moved across the hall to the cafeteria. And then we ran into a conflict with the summer and that, and we moved on to other sites. And so we haven't been back there for a while. And you know, it's just like deja vu, it's happening again. Well, we've got some speakers though tonight, and they're excited. They brought some of their folks with them, and they even broke speed records coming up here tonight. But I just heard we were going to have 2 sets of directs speaking for you, and it turns out that is that Brian on day shift?
Yay!
Hey, I gotta tell you, did it happen? Brian has been with us, body, soul, and spirit, for the last 6 or 8 months. This guy had to work afternoons, and he could never be here. And we are so glad to see you here, man. Way to go. That's great. It happened, huh? All right. Good to see you here. We have a new gold. They brought new gold directs with them. One of who retired. I said, hey, great. I says, they wanted to know if we went. I said, sure, we want them on the program. So I just told them, you guys just lost 10 minutes, you know. So, George and Michelle, new gold directs.
share with you a little bit tonight. It's been one of the most exciting days of our lives today. Because of this business, solely because of this business. Let's see, it's actually now, about 8 months ago, I quit my job. And I'm doing some things in professional sales, plus we have a big network going now too. And today, Michelle got to quit her job too. And, we are flat out turned on about that. And I want her to share a little bit about, what she actually experienced today, because that's what it was. We videotaped the whole thing, and I'll let her tell the details. But, we're very profitable, Gold Directs. We're probably making right now in the professional sales side, plus the direct side, about $5,000 a month. So we're not starving, and that's nice. I never thought we'd be both full-time at the Gold Direct level. But I want to let Michelle share a little bit with you, because this girl has been through a lot. You want me to explain it? Okay, this is fun. I enjoy this. Let's see, when we got married back in October of '87, Michelle was working third shift. She was a lab supervisor, and for newlyweds, that's pretty tough, if you know what I mean. And Michelle's mom was pretty confident we would start a family right away, and I was too. But it always been my goal to bring her home from work. In fact, Jeff O'Brien and I, he's another new direct, we were talking, and I said, if Michelle was on first shift, it probably wouldn't have motivated me as much. But the fact that she went to work at 11 p.m., came home at 7 a.m., and at that time I still had a job, so I was getting up at 7 a.m. and I was missing her. I'd come home at night, she was asleep, didn't know what sleep cycle she was going to be in, so it was real motivating. And last July, I think it was, when I quit my job, and I told her what we were going to do with the business, and she said, I don't want to hear a month from now that you're changing your mind. And I said, no, you're not going to hear that. And so we've managed to replace her income, my income, and my goal was to put on a big show where she works at, because they have a nice little security gate and all the fun stuff.
Ross Lab.
And Ross Lab's in Columbus, yeah.
Big company.
Kind of, if people like jobs, it's a great place to work. And, we had about 15 friends down there. We had the biggest stretch white limousine in Franklin County. And we pulled up there, and she had already gotten all the kind of security clearance through the guards. We just pulled up there, and he says, you guys are fine. And we got there about 45 minutes before everybody else did. And we have this big limousine parked there with the engine running, all the windows blacked out. And we blocked the plant manager's parking space. And that was fun, because that had always been my goal to do that. But I'll tell you what was really fun. How many of you folks saw Officer and a Gentleman? You guys out there, you know what that scene was like at the end when he went in and got his girl out of that place? That's what it was like today. I went into that plant with flowers everywhere, walked in there, escorted Michelle out. Everybody stopped what they were doing and just watching. We come through the doors, and one of our cross-line folks had a big ghetto blaster. He's playing, take this job, I don't need it. And to get the whole thing on videotape and just to spend that day like we did, went out to breakfast, and now we're going for one of our 1,000 Above leaderships this weekend. It's just a dream come true for us. And to say that this would have happened, to look a year ago and say this is going to happen this quick, I would never believe it. But the business is smoking right now. And for all you guys out there, one of my downlines said to me, George, he goes, how does it feel at 25 to retire your wife? I said, the boy just became a man. And that's exactly how it feels. I'm so proud of her for believing in me. Michelle?
We just have had so many, going Gold Direct and retiring the same month is just a little bit too much to handle. And we may have actually gone Ruby. We won't know till the end of the month. So that's kind of exciting. These terrible things, you just don't know what's going to happen next. But that's a tough problem to have, right? The neatest thing that I had is we have our weekly meetings. We call them, what do we call them, watering holes, every Tuesday night in Columbus. And last night we had 3 brand new personal legs plus 2 new prospects there. And I go in third shift, and last night was my last night. So here I go into work thinking, we've already hit these goals and we're making all this income, but yet our business is still going on and it's getting better. It's going to get better than this. So, we've hit some dreams and some goals, but it's getting better. And I just want to tell you, if any of you do work for a major corporation, I was in management, and I was part of the whole political scene, all the things you have to do and say, and the way you have to dress. And so it was a real thrill retiring from a place like that. It really was. And if any of you guys have a dream to do that, please feel free if you're in Columbus. We'd be glad to show you the video.
Tell them what your boss's boss said.
Oh, she said, she's about 20 years older than me, and she said, I hope what was it?
She says, when
When I grow up, I hope I'm just like you. She really was, there's a lot of people that really, there's people that are going to hate you, and I had some people at work that hated me for doing this because they didn't believe I'd be able to do it. I told them 8 months ago we had set this goal and this is what we're going to do, and they didn't believe it. And when it happened, they were so mad. But then there were other people that were really supportive and excited, and like you're saying, and a lot of people come up to me saying, Amway, you know, we heard that you did this with Amway, because I didn't bring Amway into work at all. I kept it completely separate. I just felt that was an important thing to do. And they said that they really heard a lot of good things about Amway, and they were glad to personally know somebody that did well with it. So, you know, anybody you want to sponsor from Ross Labs right now, it might be a good time, yeah. They know it can be done. I just want to read you one statement from my resignation letter. Just for any of you that are thinking about if that's your burn, because I'll tell you, it can really be a motivating factor. My boss's name is Kathee, and this is just one paragraph from it. Kathee, I do want you to know I certainly appreciate all the opportunity that you and Ross Labs have provided for me, but as we discussed, it does not make economic sense for me to continue working a job. I'll leave this resignation letter in case anybody wants to fill their name in.
How long you guys been in business?
Building is a business about 11 months. We've been kind of doing it as a hobby for about 4 years.
So you saw the business at about age 21.
Yeah, we were in college at the time.
Okay.
Just kind of wanted to save money and things, and we really took it serious about 11 months ago. So it's real.
And I think we heard you at the regional. You're doing a lot of stuff with MCI professional.
Yeah, what we do right now, I probably spend about 10, 15 hours a week with MCI, and that probably generates about $3,000 a month income by doing that. And the way I look at it, the worst day possible with MCI is still better than the best day of the job. No, the other way around with that, if you know what I mean.
I think we all knew what you meant.
You know what I mean?
I'm not sure what I heard, but I knew what you meant.
It's provided for me, you know, my freedom and our business is really taking off the top.
A group is just really, you know, if you guys set a goal and go out and do something, it's amazing the people that will start being attracted to you, the sharp people. I mean, we had 5 new people at that meeting last night, and they were all very sharp.
Tell them what Paul Miller has you guys going around saying.
Paul Miller, what he has to say? Oh, sharp, young, productive couples are the people you're looking for in the Amway business. Everybody we're talking to right now, we're making about 6 to 8 contacts a day. I'm showing about 6 to 8 plans a week. And that's all we're looking for, is sharp, young, productive couples. Everybody right in 25 to 35 bell curve. Exactly who you're looking for.
See, they just moved the bell curve away from us. Snippet in there about the couple up in Michigan with the MCI. Did you see that? You remember what their bonus check was? $8,900 a month. You can be in the telecommunications business when you're in the Amway business. It's a very unique opportunity, and some people look at it and say, well, you know, buck here, buck there. Well, 3,000 here, 4,000 there, you know. And as they say, you know, they're laying into something that's residual. It isn't something that's going to, you know, they'll have to replace accounts and stuff like that. There's an attrition rate in any business, but a lot of what they're laying in is residual as long as MCI keeps their part of the bargain. Okay. Somebody was asking one day, they said, well, Denny, they said, I saw AT&T's really going after them, you know, competing and, you know, with their TV ads and everything like that. I said, don't worry about that. I said, MCI only has one reason for being. That's to be cheaper than AT&T. I said, so any move that they're going to make in the marketplace, you can be sure MCI will have to respond to it. That's their reason for being. So, you know, you have to sweat that stuff. All right. Well, we didn't tell who these people's upline is. And they're in Terry Taylor. Terry and Lori. You know, sometimes you ever have, like, the name totally, you blank out. Terry and Lori Taylor's organization, that's their upline diamonds. And they're down line from Paul and Debbie Miller. So if you go from Paul and Debbie Miller and go on up the line, who are Paul and Debbie are two of the most fabulous speakers you've ever heard in your life. unbelievable double diamond organization. And we have learned a lot from Paul and Debbie Miller, I'll tell you that. And you go on up the line, through some more folks, and you come into Bill and Peggy Britt. So then you come down the other way, down through our speakers for next month, Rex and Betty, Joe Renfro, and down through, just talk about the diamonds here, Angelo and Claudia Nardoni, Mark and Phyllis Diamond, John, Bobby, Sestina, you get to hear. So if you wonder, how do we relate to these people, you see the power of the group. Because these people, I'll tell you what, they've motivated me already. And we are so far across line in this organization that in a lot of organizations we wouldn't even know each other. But we can build together as a team. And there's a couple that we've been keeping our eye on here for a while and watch them do something really incredible. They were floating around with a 4,000 pin on. The next thing I saw, they were rubies. And I thought, well, that's significant. And we've got to know them from hearing them speak for the cycle of recognition that they've gone through in the business. And we're really glad to have them here tonight. And that's Kirby and Kathee Morris. So.
I tell you what, you guys are really, really terrific. We're a little nervous to be here tonight because this is, Denny has been so kind as to let us kind of get our wings here, you know what I'm saying, about talking to her about her story and as you start hitting higher and higher pin levels, you need to share your story with other people and you guys are the guinea pigs, you know what I'm saying? And we really, really appreciate it. Two reasons. One, it helps us to get over our nervousness. And you guys are a great audience. And number two, we owe you people so much. You don't know. You see, John Sestina, who is your upline diamond, he's one of my heroes. He's cross line, all that stuff. But he's one of my heroes because, see, if it wasn't for John and Stan Sherry, I wouldn't be here tonight. And if it wasn't for those two men, then I wouldn't be involved in this great business and enjoying the income and all the freedoms that come with that. And likewise, Denny and Linda have always, Denny is so suave and debonair, and he's just a super, super guy, and I try to emulate him as much as possible, because he's a slick guy, you know what I'm saying? And, this is really, really a pleasure to get to speak to his group, and Linda's such a sweetheart. Where's she at anyway? Is she outside working? You got her working already again?
She always goes out there to wrap it up.
Yeah, okay. Well, I tell you, she's such a sweetheart. I'm looking forward to getting to know these people. They're, one of the real, one of the tangibles in this business, is getting to meet these people and knowing who they are. These are great people, and I tell you, it's such an honor to get to be associated with people of the caliber that you're associated with in this business. All the directs here, the directs, for you new folks that are here, these direct distributors are nice people. They're good people. They're people that you can model yourselves after in your business, and and they're people you can model yourselves after personally too. I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight when we get on with that program, because I needed a role model. I was basically a heathen when I got in this business, and I had to do some rounding the rough edges and, doing a few taking a few steps backwards and starting to, look up in new directions by emulating people that are going the right way. So I just wanted to lead off with that to thank you for the chance to be here, and we're going to do the best job possible and give you some hope. That's the big thing, to give you some hope. Lead off naturally is going to be my lovely wife, Kathee, who's obviously pregnant. Doing a good job at it, She does a good job, and we're still trying to figure this cause and effect relationship out. We're working on it. I think it's those fillers. They send us every time she gets pregnant, we get a filler from Amway. Rich and Jay, they got duplication down to a science. I'm wondering what they're doing in those laboratories. $50 million complex. But anyhow, Kathee is such a sweetheart, and she's a tough lady, and I really am so proud of her because I get worried, I get scared sometimes, because when everything's pumping real good, we just went PSDD, and we got a direct leg, we got 2 more direct legs getting ready to go over, and things are looking real well, it's looking up. Over last year, we were 4,000, so I get kind of full of myself sometimes, and then all of a sudden anxiety sets in, because I'm thinking, how important this lady is to my business. If something ever happened to her, I don't know what I'd do, because she does so much. And guys, your wives are your secret weapon. And, you really need to let them grow in that area and, really respect them for what they're doing. Because I'll tell you, if it wasn't for Kathee, I wouldn't be here in this business the way it is, believe me, okay? Because I'll be quite frank with you, we just sponsored a couple more legs this week, and I didn't even know how to, I don't know how to sign them up. I'm sitting there trying to read that form, I'm going, I'm saying it's a great business. They said, we don't even know how to do the paperwork. I said, don't worry about that. Kathee knows how to do that. So with that, Kathee, take it away.
Okay, Denny and Linda asked us to tell you a little bit about our story in the Amway business tonight, so hope nobody's too shocked or anything, but we were a little bit, like Kirby said, we were sort of going off on the wrong path, so we had to sort of back up and get on the right path when we first got in the business. When we first got started in the business, we were single and Kirby sponsored me. And I have to tell you how he did this. It was sort of a little bit sneaky. He was going to our first function, our first dream night down in Asheville, North Carolina. And during that weekend, just happened to be the weekend that my boss, I was a dental hygienist. I worked for a dentist. I'm sure Denny's a nice dentist, but there's a lot of them out there who aren't. And he was, you will admit that, right? Anyway, he was taking us for our annual Christmas steak dinner that weekend, and I wanted Kirby to go, and I was really mad because he wasn't going to go to this steak dinner with me. He was going to go to North Carolina with this guy, Stan, who I'd heard about for, a couple weeks, and I got really mad at him, and I said, he goes, well, go without me. And I said, no, I'm not going without you. Everybody was married I worked with. I just didn't want to go by myself. And I said, well, why can't I go with you? And he said, well, I don't know. I don't think they're taking the women on this trip. He didn't tell me what it was about. So he said, I have to check with Stan and see if, they're going to let the women go on this trip, because there was a whole bunch of them going, and, just the guys or whatever. So a couple days later, he said, I asked Stan, and he said it was okay. You could go if you wanted to, but, he just sort of blew it off like that. Well, of course, I really wanted to go then, I thought, what are they up to? I want to go down here and see what's going on. I hadn't seen the plan at this point or anything. And I think I was working 16 hours a week. I worked Tuesday through Friday from 4 to 8. Hard job. And I already knew I did not want to work the rest of my life, okay? And so Monday was my night off. Well, every Monday, all of a sudden, Kirby started going to, I think it was Canton or Cleveland with this guy, John Sestina. And he was all excited. He's got a Mercedes, and he was telling me all this stuff. And I said, Kirby was going to college, and he was going to medical school. And I said, why are you interested in looking at a business? You're going to medical school. You're going to be a doctor. Why? You're not going to be out of medical school for so many years, and why would you be wanting to look at a business now? And he said, well, I just wanted to look into it, and all this stuff. So I got really mad because he was spending all this time away on my night off, and and then he's going to go down to North Carolina with this guy Stan. And so, I started getting real curious, like, what's going on? And we didn't have a real steady relationship at the time, but anyway. So about 2 weeks before we went to our dream night, he showed me the plan. He didn't have a telephone or hot water, or sometimes not electricity, but, college student, what can I say? And so he didn't have a phone, which was great, because I could just drop by, without calling first. Some guys are, make sure you call before you come over. So I sort of like that. So I stopped by one day, and Stan had just gotten done showing the plan to Kirby's brother. And I walked, I knocked on the door, and he said, oh, sit down, Stan's going to show you, this is Stan, and he's going to show you something. So Stan had to start all over and go through the plan again. And when we first got in, Stan, he's smooth now. But when we first got in, he was sort of nervous, and you know, I sort of thought, gosh, this poor guy has to stand here and go through this again. You know, he'd already taken an hour and a half. That's when plans were an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he did it again, no question. So I got real excited when I saw the plan, because Stan, you know, the 4th month you make $2,000 a month. That was enough for me to quit my job. And I'd only been working, let me see, I think I started in October and this was November. I knew this is not for me, you know. And, I definitely didn't like the second shift, but it was better than getting up early in the morning. So I thought, I can do this and quit my job, you know. This is great. I won't have to work and I can make all this money. But I think I told Stan 5 million times, I don't know anybody. I went to college at West Virginia University, got my bachelor's in dental hygiene. And I just moved to Columbus in July of '83 when I graduated. And I guess I'd been there for about a year though, because this was in '84 when we got in. But, so, I don't know, maybe I'd been working about a year, I guess. But anyway, because it takes a walker hygiene license to come in. Kirby can tell how we met. I can't wait to tell my kids how we met, you know. It's one of those great meetings, but, anyway, so I got in the business, and then 2 weeks later we went to our first dream night. And Kirby, he was already about 5 or 6 wide. He'd been in about a month or 2, so that just tells you one of the reasons why we're doing so well today is because he went wide right off the bat. And his mother went to the function, which I really didn't know her that well, so that was fun. And she was real nervous at the function. She wouldn't take her coat off the whole time. It was a really, really big function, and everybody was yelling. And I don't think you guys have ever had the chance of meeting Van Lewis, but he's a Ruby somewhere in Paul's organization, and he dances in the aisles like the whole time the goads are playing. and he was sitting right in front of us, so we were like, what is going on? So, and I'd say I was so excited about that function. That was the first week in December that I went home, and I took the whole month of December off for Christmas. So I'll get started in January. So I was excited, but you know how that is, just, you know, any excuse. So anyway, we built the business as singles for a while, and Kirby was doing real good, and he says that I had the biggest group in his organization, so he married me, but I think I was the only girl he had sponsored. No. Yeah, narrowed it down real quick. But in '86, we combined our businesses because I convinced Kirby we were getting married sometime in '86, so for tax purposes, let's go ahead and combine our businesses in January. He says I railroaded him, but you know, he was a consenting adult, you know. Anyway, so we went 1,500 in January, and then I think we went 4,000 in March or September. I don't know when we went 4,000 because I sort of hate that pen, but we run it for so long. We got married in May, and you know, I thought, hey, we're getting married and things are going to go great. And it was sort of like we were emotionally ready and spiritually ready, but our finances were in real bad shape. And you know, it's come to think about it, I don't know why we did it. He was working as a waiter at Chi-Chi's. And I quit my job 2 days before we got married. I'd been working full time, so we were living on Chi-Chi's. And I really don't know why we did that. But then he got into some other, you know, selling frozen food, meat and stuff. But he did real good with that. But I don't know, our financial situation was real bad. I had sort of neglected to tell him about, I had 2 student loans instead of 1, and that I had a Lazarus church card and a JCPenney church card that were full. I just sort of neglected to tell him that. And he sort of neglected to tell me that he had 3 student loans instead of 1. And, you know, real fast things got real tense because I had been used to handling all the bills, and then, you know, he said, I'm going to handle the bills. Okay, fine. And I'd say, Kirby, this bill was late. He'd say, okay. And I would get real upset. I was real, you know, bills got paid on time, you know. And when he'd say, okay, I would get mad because I said, you know, how can you be so, you know, just nonchalant about it? These bills are late. And I would get real upset. But he didn't tell me, we don't have the money to pay them. And they're just going to have to wait, you know. So, I would get so mad because his attitude towards bills were just, you know, whatever. And he didn't tell me, we just don't have the money, you know. But anyway, so that was real hard to handle because I used to worry about him. But took over all the financial problems, and from that point on, I sort of was da-da-da, and la-la-land, everything was great, and Kirby's pulling his hair out trying to pay the bills, right? And he never really told me what the situations were, so thank God for that, because I probably would have gone nuts. But in the beginning, when we got in the business, Stan, bless his heart, I don't know how he did it. I know I drove him crazy, because I think before we got in, I know Michelle bothered him with details, but I detailed that poor guy to death. And we had no product pickup, we had no call-in. Stan would call and say, hey, you want to order something this week? yeah, give me one of these and one of those. And then I'd sort of look at the wholesale price list and sort of add it up. 25, that'll be good, $25, here you go. And no SA1s. Pickup was like in the parking lot at, at first we plugged into John Sestina's Opens and Counseling, which was a blessing because, it was just Stan and I think George and Michelle and me and Kirby. And thank goodness for that system, because I don't know what would have happened if we didn't do that. But we had to pick up like in the parking lot, or Stan would drop them by at our house. And LOC took 3 weeks, and tapes took 2 years. And that's the truth. Tapes and books and Brit products were almost impossible. But so finally Stan said one day, you guys have to start doing SA1s. Well, I got mad. What's SA1s? We haven't done them so far. Why do we have to do them now? And he said, I talked to my upline. I said, we got to start doing them, So I guess he got a little bit worried that one of us might break 100, he might have to pay a PV check or something. So we started, and that really started something, because that paperwork, okay, now we got to get this done right, and I think we drove him crazy on that too. But so we started doing SA1s, and I think we started breaking, some levels. And I remember Kirby went to this 1,000 and above thing at Paul Miller's house, at his house, and I wanted to go to that so bad. And I think I did 800 or 900 points, and Kirby got to do 1,000 and went. And I was so because I had to stay home. I still don't forgive you for that one, Kirby. Because I thought, well, I'll go next year. He didn't have it for like 2 or 3 more years, and I was really mad about that one. And Kirby and Stan laughed about that. They thought that was so funny. But I fixed him, because now we're married and I get to spend a lot of the money, so. Oh gosh, I don't know. Oh, here's another thing. Here's one thing don't do. When I was single, I had quite a big group of guys, single guys, and it was really about second or third leg I sponsored. So it was, it is when you have a couple people, you really want to, these are my people, and I finally get in a group, and I was little Napoleon. Stan and Kirby wanted to help these guys, and they wanted to do security systems, which I knew nothing about. And I was like, no, this is my group, leave them alone. This is my group, I want to do everything. And I blew them all out. So they were all gone, but one guy just got back in recently, so that was good. But let your upline help you, because they probably know more than you do, I'm sure they do. But when our business really started growing was when we quit babysitting them. And we'd go to a function, we made reservations for everybody, we made car arrangements for everybody. Everybody, okay, well, this person's not ready to go to the, 8 o'clock session yet, so we waited on them. Okay, it's 8:30 now, everybody's ready, let's go. We babysat them. They were like our little chickens, and we were little, mother and father hen, and we babysat them. When we quit babysitting was when we really started growing, because it was like, either you do it or you don't. Come on, we're going, and if you want to come with us, come on. So we've built it as a singles, we built it as a married couple, now we're building it with children. And it's growing faster with children, and you're busier with children than you are without, so that should tell you something. It's, the busier you are, the more you do. You get, more schedule, and you just find time to do things. But this business is amazing. When Jared was born last July, we were 4,000s. We've been 4,000s forever. And, now he's 9 months old, and we're Ruby Profit Sharing Direct, so it was, it's just crazy. So it just goes really fast. And, you can build with children, find you a good babysitter. My mother, they aren't in the business yet, and I sort of feel like they're not in the business yet because they're going to be our babysitters until the children get a little bit older. And then that they're going to get in. I know they'll get in. It's just, maybe that's why they haven't gotten in yet. But, okay, I got to tell this story. Kirby sort of gets mad when I tell this story, but it's really funny. It makes him look sort of bad, but I know he's going to make up for it. When we went on our honeymoon, we had a distance group in Chicago, and it was like 13 deep, okay, and one particular individual who's not in the business anymore, so I can tell this, he ordered about $400 worth of products, and he didn't send the check. So naturally we had to pay Stan anyway because we had ordered the products. So we got married on Saturday, a beautiful wedding outside, sunny and everything. So at the reception, Stan came over and what are we gonna do, you guys? So I watched Kirby take out the cash for our honeymoon. We were leaving the next day to go to Florida, and I watched him count $400 cash and give it to Stan for the products. So now Kirby didn't tell me we don't have enough money to get back after we get down there. So he had been selling this frozen, steak and seafood, and he was doing very well with it. And he had been wanting to take the truck down on the honeymoon, and I was selling okay. And I had talked him out of it until that point. And so he said, and also too, I don't think I've ever told this before. We got married at 1:30 in the afternoon. I think at 11:30 at night we were still, we were at my parents' house. Everybody's having fun, and one of the men in our wedding party had a little bit too much to drink, and he sort of left, and nobody knew he'd left because we were all like, he cannot drive home. He's had too much to drink, and he left and got arrested and got put in jail. So here, we really felt we couldn't leave until we got him out of jail, and that wasn't until Monday morning. So the honeymoon got delayed for a day, but so I think, did we post his bond too? Is that where the rest of the money? Anyway, so. This honeymoon was dwindling away quick. So we take this pickup truck with the freezer on the back and a cap on it to Florida. Well, it was hot because it was May, and we had to stop every so many hours and plug the freezer in so it would get cold again. And the truck had like vinyl seats and no air conditioning, so it was real hot. And it was sort of a miserable trip. We drove straight through, 22 hours or something. And so we got there. It was gorgeous weather, and there was the beach and the ocean, and where we were staying, we had a pool and a jacuzzi, and it was, we had a good time, but, he went, every day he was going to go out and sell this meat. And he was driving me crazy because he would, sit around and think about it and everything so fun. I said, look, either go out and do it or don't, but please make up your mind what you're going to do, So finally he decided he wasn't going to do it. And I think that was after my sister called and said, hey, I got the money order, and she wired us the money. But so everything worked out, and we got home. And I think we got home in time to turn and go to a function. But that all worked out. And I know we're going to go on beautiful trips, and he's going to take me on a second, and third, and fourth, and a fifth honeymoon. I'm not worried about it. We still had a good time. And, but that was just one of the things that happens. But, you just handle it and go on. But, I think I'm so happy for George and Michelle. That's great, and I think the men in our group are really getting the heat because a lot of the women are not working, a lot of them, and we really couldn't afford for me to quit when I was 4,000, when we were 4,000, but Kirby didn't tell me that. He said, he didn't want me working, so I quit my job and stayed home, and it was great. I have no complaints about it, but he says the women love you better when you do that, but anyway, so, we've been doing a lot of traveling with the business, and we're going to do some more. We just got our notice today when we're going to Ada, and it was when we were scheduled to go to Myrtle Beach for a week, so I had to call them and change it. And, the week before that, we're going to Paul Miller's for a pool party, Ruby and Above pool party, so we're real excited about that. And then the next week, we're going to Myrtle Beach, and then it just happens to be the family reunions the weekend right before we go to Ada, so we're going to have to come back from Virginia and then fly up to Ada, and it's just terrible. I don't know. It's great. I love to travel, but it's good. And, this business gives us a lot of freedom. Kirby owns an asphalt business also, and when you own your own business, it gives you a lot of freedom. His oldest son down in Kentucky had a retreat through school, and it was a parent-child trip outing or whatever. And it was on a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday, and he went down. It was camping. It was about 20 degrees, so they got real cold. But I think he said there was like 2 or 3 other fathers there, and not that many other mothers. So that's pretty sad when you think it's they don't do that very often, and there wasn't very many parents there at all. They all had jobs to go to. But well, anyway, I want to bring Kirby up because he's got a lot to say, and he's really. you guys have ever heard him speak, I know you're like, hurry up so you can get on. Because he's just a wealth of knowledge, and not from going to 12 years of college either. It's from building this business and having the experience. But there's this, I was listening to a John Crow tape. I don't know if you guys got this tape, Friction Fleas in the 4-Minute Miles. Did you get that tape? Okay, did you hear on the tape when he said, what's your first name? Herb? It was Kirby. We were sitting up front and he kept saying, what's your name? And he'd say Kirby, and he'd say Herb, and we were laughing. But anyway, in that tape he says, anybody can start something, but only winners finish. You know, and what's finishing is when you reach, you know, success. So, you know, we aren't finished yet, and I don't think we ever will be, because that's one thing good about this business. There's no, you know, there's no top. You can go as far as you want to go. So everybody build your dream and, you know, get that success. You know, I just love this business. We've made a lot of money in it, a lot of friends, and it's really almost our life, because we've just found everything in it that we've been looking for. Anyway, I want to bring Kirby up. He's my diamond.
I'm like Jack Dory. I'm a great salesman. And Kathee, I had to do a lot of fancy talking to get her. You know, I kind of coerced her into thinking it was all her idea. But man, when I started doing those SA1s and how well she could do them, I said, that's a woman for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's really this business has been an experience. You know, he was saying how we got in. I guess was it '84? Seemed like it was '85. It was almost '85 is what it was. It was the last part of '84. And you know, in the past 4 years, it's just, you know, 4 years ago seems like eons ago, because listening to those stories, you know, I can't even believe I did it. You know what I mean? I mean, some of the things, you know, the honeymoon trip and all that. You know, men forget that stuff. You know, women, they don't forget that stuff. And you know, I was just trying to get us down there and back. You know, and get on with the honeymoon so we can get back and get to making some money, because we need to pay some bills. But she's going to get her due. I guarantee that. There's no doubt about that, because Kathee stuck with me through thick and thin. And it's been mostly thin up to this point. It's getting thick. So. I guess I should tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Middletown, Ohio. Some of you know where Middletown is, by any chance? It's kind of south of Dayton, okay? And yeah, my brother knows where Middletown is. Okay, and I went to Madison High School there and did all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a small town or a small school. It only had like 600 people, and it's kind of like Faircrest here, I guess. Yeah, kind of a rural type school. And I played sports and did pretty well in school, I never got into much. When I was a pretty good kid going through high school. I worked after school and you know, made good grades and all that, and played baseball. And as a matter of fact, that's why I went to the University of Kentucky, was baseball scholarship. And that didn't pan out because it was just, you know, it's kind of like Providence. You know, that I was supposed to play for the Baltimore Orioles and Phillies, the pitcher. And both times I was supposed to try out. The first time I was scheduled for my tryout, and you only get like one shot. You know what I mean? Anybody done professional sports in here? I mean, been around it, or you know, like the minor leagues or something. You get one window of, you know, one opening, and that's about it. If you don't make that, it's kind of rough. And the first one I had, I got mono. And it wiped me out, you know, so I couldn't do it. And then the next year, since I was a pitcher, you know, they gave me a second shot. And the next year, I was playing AA ball in Dayton, and I snapped my arm. I broke my arm in two, a pitching arm. And so that crashed the baseball deal, you know, and I was already at University of Kentucky my first year, and so I lost my scholarship. And so what happened was I wanted to make my mark in college, you know, because I've kind of felt confined all the way through high school because I was a good kid, you know, and I wanted to be a bad kid. You know, I'd gotten away from home, and I was a good kid. You know, I never did bad things much or anything. And I got away until high school, and I wanted to kind of liberate myself more or less. You know, I was tired of being a good kid. I wanted to do something, you know. And so since I couldn't be an athlete anymore, really. I was too small for football. I went to a basketball game one time, and I saw those cheerleaders down there. And I was looking at those male cheerleaders, and I said, man, that looks like a great job. And so what I did was I tried out for the cheerleading squad, varsity squad, and I made it. And I did that for a couple of years, and that was a great time. We traveled all over the country. This last year I was a cheerleader, I never saw a losing football or basketball game because the UK was the national champs in basketball year, 78. And we went to Peach Bowl and won that. We only lost one football game, and we would fly on private jets, and we'd do a lot of TV spots, and we'd do this and do that. Basically PR for the University of Kentucky, and it was great. We met little celebrities and all that. And the only challenge with that, though, is I never went to class. I never forget. See, I'd always had an inclination towards science, and I never, you know, and I did pretty good in high school, but college is a different story. You know, you're competing with those some of those private school kids, and you know they have really good educations, and you just can't wing it in college, especially in organic chemistry and a few other classes. It's kind of tough. So what happened was my first 3 years of college, I just murdered. I mean, I went from like a 3.85 or 3.9 in high school to 1.2 in college. And I was in serious jeopardy, you know. And so about the last year of college, I got serious about college. And I remember walking into the counselor, and I said, I want to go to medical school. You should have seen this woman's face, you know. I mean, I had a record that was just unbelievable. And she's like, you want to do what? And I said, so I want to go to medical school. And she says, you can't do that. And I said, yeah, I can. Why not? She said, because your grades are rotten. They're lousy. You'll never make it. And I said, well, what about this idea? So what I did basically is I retook my 4 years. And I started from scratch, man. And by the time it was over with, I'd raised my GPA up to about 3.1, but I had to have several 4-point quarters to do that. And medical schools, that was back when they were less, they were more selective than they are now. Now they're just like, yo, come on, sign up, you know? You know what I mean? And I remember when I applied for medical school, it was like a 15 or 10,000 to 1 shot or something. You know, from the time that you walk the first day on campus, and you guys are, you know what I'm talking about, it's been for dental school and all that, you know, it's a rigorous process. And so what had happened was I brought the grades up, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because it's a key component of my story and my psyche for building this business, because that's where I kind of had some proving grounds for what later catapulted us from Ruby, or 4,000 Ruby. But they told me I couldn't do it, and I brought my grades up. Then the next major hurdle was the MCATs, and I had to take the MCATs. And I remember the first time I took the MCATs, I had lousy scores because I just, you know, I would get test anxiety, and I had a little challenge with that, big challenge with that. And so I had to endure that process. I remember I applied for medical school 3 times, and that was during the time that I racked up all of the debt. I mean, I was laying on the line. Every time that you apply for medical school, it's $1,000 hit, you know, at least. Okay, because I couldn't just apply to 1 or 2 schools. I had to apply to every school in the country. You know what I mean? And then I had to go to the Philippines and wherever else they had a medical school. You know, and I was looking at Guadalajara and you know, and all these other extreme places. You know, because and the reason why I'm telling you this is because I had a goal. I was going to be a doctor. And yes, I'd made some mistakes, made some severe mistakes, but I was willing to pay the price, and I was going to do whatever it took. Whatever it take to get back in the program. And I remember the last, it was so hard because during the time that I saw the businesses right before I took my MCATs for the last time, and I was sweating bullets all the time because I was going to class and I had to work a job at night, and I had a real choice job as a bouncer in a bar. And, you know, I mean, that's why Kathee says, she wanted me to tell you where we met. She was a barfly, basically. No, I'm just teasing. Yeah, she tells me she was waiting for a dental hygiene license to come in, you know, and her mother brought her over to be a cocktail waitress. Now, her mother, you know, that sounds kind of dubious right there. No, what it was is she said she needed to make some bucks, and anyhow, that's where we met. But I remember I used to, she thought it was weird because I studied the whole time I was bouncing. I'd go over there and beat somebody up and then go back to my books, you know. It was like really a swing shift there. You know, it was really wild. And but anyhow, during that period of time, that I was hurting inside. I was hurting so bad because I was so afraid that I wasn't going to be able to accomplish my dream. And the whole time that I was going to school, and see, I had to make up my grades, not in undergraduate classes. They had to be in graduate classes. So I had every micro class that Ohio State offered. I had every biochemistry class. I took PChem. I took all that garbage, man. It was terrible. Terrible. 45-page lab reports on stuff. And I had to excel in that arena. And the whole time I'd go back every quarter and I'd chart my progress. You know what they'd tell me? I'd have this advisor, you're not going to make it. You're washed up. Forget it. Quit. This is crazy. You're killing yourself. You'll never make it. I'd go to my parents' house and my relatives that love me. Listen, Kirby, you're killing yourself. Look at you. You're spending all this money. You're not going to make it. Forget it. Hang it up. You're done. You made the mistake. Pay your mistake. You can take your education. Get a good job. Don't do this to yourself anymore. And it was right about the time I saw Amway. And you see, before Amway came along, I'd already resolved this. I was going to make it one way or the other. One way or another, I was going to make it. And I don't care if it took me till I was 55 years old, I was going to make it. Okay? And the year that I saw Amway was the year I got accepted to medical school. I scored 14s on my MCATs, if you guys know anything about MCATs. And I scored an upper 5% in the country. And I made it. Why am I telling you that? I'm not telling you that to edify myself. I'm telling you that for a principle. People say to me, "Why? How'd you go from 4,000 to Ruby to Private and all that stuff?" You know why? Because we won't quit. I won't quit. I'll never quit. And I've locked the back doors, man. There is no back door. You know, we were talking about it on the way up. You know why that this business is working for us? Because we've done every wrong thing in the book. Except that we have the resilience and we have the foresight and we have the not the ego challenge to listen to people like Denny and Lynn and all these people and listen, duplicate, and we slam the back doors and there's no other way out. There's no other way out for us. Okay? There is no other way out. All right? So the year that I saw the business is the year I got accepted and I had a choice. What are we going to do? Are we going to medical school? Or we'll build Amway. And believe me, folks, I can see these gray hairs. It was tough. You see, because I met this man named John Sestina, who I immediately, I'm not real intelligent, but I can spot great men when I see them. That man's a great man. You don't know, you knew people, you've never met John or been around. John is just a stellar human being. Because he's a man of principle, you see. And I starved for those men of principle in my life. I didn't have men of principle. I had these wishy-washy people telling me to give up on my life's goals and dreams and ambitions. I had people that didn't have the spine to stand up for what they believed in, telling me I should compromise and I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that. And then along comes a man in my life that says, you got a goal, you stick to it. I don't care what they tell you. And I used to ride with him back and forth to Worcester. And I don't know if John ever tell you about some of our conversations. Oh, gosh. Where you at, Stan? How was that first night, buddy?
Scared.
Here's Stan Sherry, right? Stan's hanging on by just a thread in this business, a thread. Why? Because he'd taken 110 no's. He'd already gone through what 99% of the men in this country couldn't endure. He was scared to death, wondering if this thing was going to work, and he had the opportunity to plug into John Sestina, so naturally he was doing whatever he could to make that relationship go and get that time and everything. So the first night he takes me into John, with John and Mercedes, I tell John he's stupid because he's selling soap. Yeah, I did. I really did. Hey, can you believe that one? Man, I seen the hair stand on this man's face. The hair stood up. Yeah, and then how when friends came out, it was just like hitting the brakes, you know. I could almost hear the brakes. And he said, well, you know, he says, that's a great goal to be a doctor, but you want to know something? He says, you know, you got these challenges down there. And I said, yeah, John. I said, but this Amway business, I said, come on, man. I said, this is selling soap. You're selling soap and you're trying to do this. This thing's probably illegal anyway. You know? And I said, you know, I didn't know who the great John Sestina was. I didn't care, you know. If he wasn't a neurosurgeon, he wasn't nothing. You know? It didn't make any difference to me, you know. Well, we went back and forth, you know, and I remember John saying, well, Kirby, here's the, and see, I'm making a point here, folks, for you new people. Get with your upline all the time. Go to the functions. Be around Denny all the time. You know, I would cleave to Denny, you know, like a leech. And I would be around him. The other directs, you want to get around him and just, because you know what? One sentence can change your life in this business. Just one sentence, because one sentence changed my life in this business. From one man at the right time, at the right place. That's why you never miss functions, because you don't know when your time is there. So this man changed my life. What did he say? He said to me, Kirby, he says, you know, medicine's a great profession. And I said, yeah, John, it's a tremendous profession. I said, you know, and he said, well, you know what? He says, you could even help people more in Amway than you could in medicine. And I said, is that a fact? I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going in to volunteer my services at the trauma care unit. The next banged up body that comes in, I'm going to show them the plan, or I'm going to ask if they want to make a treatment and see what they want. He said, yeah, you got a point there. And I said, John, have you ever been in an ER? I said, do you know what goes on in there? Have you ever seen men cry for help and get help? I said, medicine's the greatest profession in the world. I said, don't tell me what you think about medicine, because you don't know what medicine is. You've never been there. Okay? And his wife's a nurse. I didn't know that. I'm giving you guys hope tonight, you know? And so we're going, and Stan is in the back seat. What were you doing, Stan?
Hiding.
But here's the punchline. He said, you know, you're right. And I could see he wasn't patronizing. He was sincere. He said, but let me ask you a question, Kirby. He said, when they go home, after you put their body together, what are you going to do with their life? I said, oh, God. He just got me. So what did I do? I didn't go to medical school. I built a network. And what's it done? I've changed people's lives. You know, through my great intelligence. No, I'm just an instrument. That's all I am. It's through the system. It's through great men like him. Through great men like John. I just would like to be great someday. You know what I mean? If I could. But the system is what's great. And so I chose Amway. And man, I tell you, we went wide right off the bat, and then we hit the valley. You know, you kind of go into the peak and then the valley, and then the peak and then the valley, and that's what we did. And that's what we did. But you know, every time we come out of the valley, we went to a little higher peak, and just like they say in the tapes, the books, and all that stuff. And then we hit 4,000. And man, I thought we really had the same role. Now we're going to go direct the next 2 or 3 months. And we stayed at 4,000 for 2 years. For almost 3 years, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm trying to forget. Okay? But why did we do that? Why did we have to do that? Because Kirby Morris had to change. You see, I wasn't a real nice person. I really wasn't. I'm not that great today, but I try and I work at it. You know, Amway's not a religious experience. It's not a you know, an emotional experience. It's a business. But through the association of good people, you know, I got a lot of things in my life straightened out. And you know, everything happens. You know, when you guys get asked to stand up here, you can say what you believe. Everything happened in our business. I give credit to God, because I was a first-rate mess. I trashed one marriage out. I got an 8-year-old son. I mean, I literally trashed it out. You know, it was my fault, because I was the man of the house and I failed. but you know, through the association, through that period of time that I had to change and getting back to my roots and getting back to the basics, I was able to change. Okay, and that's why we had the 2 or 3 years at 4,000, because I wasn't ready to be a direct yet. I don't believe in this business that you go very far if your motives aren't right, because you're affecting people's lives. And you have a great responsibility as leaders. And you know, that's why all you new people, you have so much educational system and association that can help you to hone your good points and get you to be great leaders, but you got to plug in. And that's all I did, folks. You know, how people say, well, how did you do this? You know what I did? Is we never miss functions. Stan, do we miss functions?
Never.
Never. Stan, do we listen to tapes? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Tell him, Stan, I'm trying to help you out here. The point I'm making is, Stan can testify, and he's going to be up here in just a second, because I'm going to get down here. But you know what we've done? The same thing you're doing. We've just done more of it. Jenny will say the same thing. John will say the same thing. We haven't done anything different. You know, I got serious about this business. I was like George and Michelle, you know. They were in and signed up. But they got serious. You see what happened. Well, you know, I kind of coasted to 4,000 a little bit, did some work and everything, but I got serious at 4,000. I said, man, I got to make this thing go. And I started sitting down and drawing my goals out. I started grading myself, my business every night with that little brick grading system we build through Edis, you know. I use that. Check with your upline and whatever if you're not familiar with it. But I grade myself, check myself, and I set daily goals now. I always read every day. It's no big deal. The books that you have are a wealth of knowledge if you read it every single day. And guess what, folks? Tonight when we get home, it's going to be about 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. Kathee, what will I do? Read. Why? Because I have to. How can I stand up here in front of you people and tell you how to build this business if I'm a hypocrite and I don't do it myself? I can't lead you people or help you lead you people, whatever, you know. I feel humble in saying lead you people because there's a bunch of sharp people in this crowd. But, you know, by virtue of our pen, how can I stand up and lead people if I don't do what I tell them to do? I know the system will get you there. We haven't done anything special. We've just done a lot of it. We hung in there. And, man, I'll tell you what's it like today? Well, you heard Kathee say, you know, if I pick a lead in half, if I can pick up. Today she's got it on a computer. Everything just whap, whap, whap. You know, we have a business that's all over the country. We have an outlet in London, England. It runs so super smooth now. I mean, Kathee's got this science and everything's it's just like clockwork. You know, we do about $30,000, $40,000 a month in our business. Okay, and you know, in terms of dollars, we have our PV went from 4,000 to the first month we went direct was over 10,000. I think about 9,000, almost 10,000. And since then we haven't dropped below 11,000. We've broken off a direct leg and spare volume. We got in car bonus. You know, our last month car bonus is this month. The money, you know, my checks, our checks haven't fallen below $11,000 a month, and that's just the number 2 income. Okay, we still get paid other ways. Don't feel sorry for us. Because you have Ruby bonus, you have profit sharing bonus, you have car bonus, you have Q12 bonus. Yeah, 3% bonus. Okay, all that stuff. Has our income gone up? Yeah. You want to know something, folks? I was in debt up to my neck. I'm serious. We were in serious trouble. You know, I mean, we had some serious challenges because I hadn't worked for 12 years except odd jobs. You know? I mean, hey, you go out working for 12 years and life goes on, your bills get extremely high. I'll tell you, okay? Well, as a matter of fact, it got to the point where, you know, I had to take consolidation loans and everything keeps us out of hot. Well, guess what, folks? By the end of this year, we're going to be debt-free. And next year, we'll be building a 4,000 square foot home. And we're going to pay cash for it. Now, I'm not bragging, just fact. The reason reason why I'm telling you that is because you can do it. Listen, folks, if people had told me last year that we were doing what we're doing this year, I said, well, that's a great dream. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. When this thing hits, bang, it hits. If you build it properly, it keeps right on moving. How do you build it properly? Listen, folks, I still make mistakes. I still make mistakes. I'm still not perfect. I still blow people out from time to time. Sometimes a little hard on my network. Every now and then I got to back up and I got to reread How to Win Friends. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got to back up from time to time. Sometimes, you know, I don't get along with everybody. But there's one thing with our network, with Fred, I think that keeps it rolling is those people that deal with me. They may not like me too much, but they know they can count on me because I'll give it 110%. I won't let it down. And if I let them down, I'll die before I let them down. I won't let people down. And if you get that same responsibility, accountability that you'll get through textbooks and functions, and you get that caring for your network and dealing with people, it'll happen. It'll happen in a big way. I'll tell you why we catapulted, because we got that in our hearts. You know, you're going to hear all this emotional stuff in Amway. You know, I used to get sick of it. I say this. I just, you guys are wearing me out with this stuff. You gotta love people. You know, you gotta do this, and you gotta, you know, get with your upline and all this stuff. You know, I'm just spitting image Jack Dory, man. I love, you know, I'm almost like, who was it? Remember the Alaskan couple? Jeff Moore. Did you get talking? He says, man, I can almost smell Jack through them tapes. You know, I'm just like Jack. You know, I relate to those guys. I'm from Kentucky originally, you know. I have my heritage down. We're a bunch of heathens down here. But we're good guys. So that's what you got to be, as a good guy. Plug into the system, and it'll happen. All right? Listen, I don't want to take up any more time because we got the main man coming up here. Stan's going to come up here and talk, and he's the one you want to really listen to, folks. If it wasn't for Stan, I wouldn't be here. And Stan amazes me because he knows this business so well, you know, and daggone him, he won't spend enough time with me because, you know, I'm a drug now, and so, you know, he won't, I don't get as much time as I want to because you know, we're both busy. But I cherish the moments I can get with him, and I tried to curse him and let me drive up today. I bet he wish he did. Anyhow, you know, I try to get with him as much as possible because, you know, if you guys really know how to build this business, you get Stan after this thing is pump his brain because, you know, he's a little more shy than I am. You know, he won't talk as much, but if you can get him in a corner, get him to talk to you because he knows how to build this thing. He is tough. Stan's tough. He's knowledgeable. He's listened to I don't know how many tapes. Who knows how many tapes? I don't know. He's a wealth of knowledge. He truly is. And I'm so proud to be in his organization because we're pioneers, you know, from Miller's Group up here. You know, we haven't done it on our own. You know, you guys was responsible for our success as we are in terms of the association, what you've done for us. But, you know, we're pioneers in Miller's Group. Man, our upline is about what, 8-10 hours away, something like that. You know, it's a haul to go to see our upline. You know, so Stan braved it out, and he built his business, and he led the way, and he still leads the way. You know, he's going to be going Pearl here very, very, very quickly. Very quickly. He's got 2 directs over, so he's ready. And so with that, I'll just I'll let Danny take it over.
Or something like that, you know, and you have to go. But I want to hear from Stan. Stan, I don't want you cutting it short. Okay, I'm not a pumpkin at 12 o'clock, so, well, maybe not 12 o'clock. But in all sincerity, because I know some of you, we usually quit at 10 o'clock, and if you got a babysitting situation or a job situation or something like that, don't think, you know, you're going to bum us out if you have to slide out, but just don't trip over the cameras. I got them all set up so they're focused in down here. But I'm totally inspired by what I've heard here tonight so far. This is better than listening to me. These guys, what's going to be fun is that we always, you know, look cross-line at the other organizations and wondered, Linda and I, you know, well, who are going to be our good buddies? You know, John Crow always talked about Paul Miller, and Paul about John, and Angelo about Dave, you know, it goes like that. And it's kind of neat to see these guys coming on and us getting to know them because, I don't know, if you guys, Stan, if you hustle, and Kirby, you got some stuff coming on. We're going to be in Puerto Rico in November, man. Yeah, so it's something to shoot for. We start spending some time around the world, huh? Oh, that's right. That'd be. Can you get Emerald in yet this year? No, you mathematically out. I'll send you a card with sand on it. I wouldn't go down there and not send you a card. I gotta get your address. But there was this guy that I met when Lynn and I were just getting in the Amway business, and I think at that time Stan weighed about 73 pounds, and he looked it. He just looked like he needed somebody to feed him. And he was always excited. When I get around Stan Sherry, this guy was always excited. And I'd look around and I go, what's he excited about? There's nobody with him. This guy was like, there used to be a song where the guy used to talk about people walking by like they were psyched for something. And I used to go, Stan would walk by me like he was psyched for something. You know, and I go, for what? And what it was this guy had a dream. And we watched him, you know, he plugged into Columbus, but every time I would get down there and get recognized for some pin, Lynn and I, Stan was always coming up, sticking his hand out, and introducing himself. And we started to build a friendship, and we don't hang out a lot together because we're so far across line, but we keep bumping into each other at 1 o'clock in the morning, all over the state of Ohio. And the one famous time was when he was heading north of Cleveland, I was heading south, and I've had more coffee at that one McDonald's there, working the group down in Columbus and South, and I don't have to do that much anymore. We got directs to take care of that. That's one of the nice things about the business. You think about the groups used to work, you don't have to anymore. And Stan's here tonight, and these two couples that have spoken tonight are downline from Stan in With. Okay, so what, you guys coming on to Ruby?
That's right.
Come on, Stan, give us some of that 3%, boy. He's getting some long bread out of the 3% checks. So, Stan, we are so proud of you. And John and Bobby send their love. I talked to John just before he took off from Spain, and Linda talked to Bobby, and they just think the world of you. And you used to do some work over at your house, didn't you? Yeah, so I'm going to bring down Stan Sherry.
Folks, I am scared to death of people. Scared to death, okay? And so you have to give me a break tonight, okay? And you know, it's funny, the reason I'm nervous and scared to death of people, I don't know about you guys, but my mother and father always told me, Stan, don't talk to strangers because they're going to kill you or run over you. You know what I mean? So when you've heard that for about 20 years, and then you get into people business, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? So it took me a little while to get started. I tell you, it is such an honor to be able just to be here. And honest to goodness, I just wish I could hear Denny and Linda talk tonight in their directs. Because, you know, the more I learn in this business, the more I know I don't know, okay? Honest to goodness. And Denny, it is an honor to be here, and I want to thank you. And Linda, too, and all your directs. Because how many people in here are trying to go direct? Okay, well, please talk to your upline direct and find out how to do it, okay? Will you do that for me? Okay? Real quick, I'll tell you a few things here. First thing, I'm so proud of George and Michelle and Kirby and Kathee. And because they have hung in, you know, you heard Kirby talk about thick and thin. They hung in with me very thin, okay? And just like Denny said, all we had was one thing, a dream, okay? And like Kirby said, we're never going to quit. I'm in this thing for life, okay? Good or bad, I'm here, okay? And, you know, if you ever deal with our society today, that's a big deal, you know what I mean? You know, even today, you'll call, you know, something that kind of bugs me. I'll call somebody, talk to them at, you know, 6:30. Yeah, I'm going to be there at 8. They don't show up. Hey, I don't need friends like that, okay? I really don't. So this business is so special to me. It means so much to me. And like Denny said, the first time I met him was the month he went Pearl. Back in about 1982, he came to Columbus to do an open. Right after he went Pearl, man, this is a Pearl. I mean, when you're zero, Pearl is big time, okay? And he went, and I saw him do that open. I was so impressed. I said, boy, I just love to get to know a guy like that. Plus, you know what? I would like him to get to know me, too. But I'm not going to do that from talking. I need to do something. Okay? And I tell you, one night I was going to Cleveland and had about $12.50 in my pocket. $10 went to gas. I had $2.50, and I was driving to Cleveland. And I stopped at McDonald's to get a cup of coffee, cheeseburger, something to eat, you know. And, you know, it's one of those nights where I was thinking, you know, is this really worth it? There probably won't be anybody there, you know what I mean? Going from Columbus to Cleveland, good attitude, right? But every now and then we were in the valley of the shadow, okay? And that man was there. But anyway, thank God you don't have to be smart to do this, right? Okay. But anyway, I walk into McDonald's, and who's in line there? Denny Salapak. And that guy made me feel so good that night. I tell you, I sped to Cleveland that night, but just because there was a hero of mine setting the example, okay? He wasn't home watching TV. And he said something to me that night that I'll always remember. He was at least Pearl at that time, and I was still about 1,000 maybe. But anyway, he said, I'm going to Columbus to do a meeting, and you're going to Cleveland. I'll let you just stay in Columbus and do my meeting, and I'll just go to Cleveland and do yours. And you know, that made me feel so good, because it really seemed like he really meant it. You know, like he would really trust me and do a meeting for his group, you know. But that, you know, every time I go past that McDonald's on 71, I think about that, every single time. And, you know, I really need to thank Denny for some other things. You know, Denny, there isn't a day that goes by that somebody says, Stan, we really enjoy your smile. And that's because of Denny Salapak. He's my dentist. I need to get Denny here in trouble a little bit. It's okay, since I'm talking to this group. See, the reason I'm shy and scared to death of people is one night I was doing a meeting like this, and okay. But anyway, hey, this is not Denny's fault. It's totally my fault. I waited too long to get back up there to get more crowns or whatever. And I was doing a meeting. I started the meeting out, and I felt something. And I went like this, and one of my crowns fell out right during the whole meeting. So what do? You hang loose, and you keep on doing it, okay? But I tell you, that was a good night. In fact, I gave your address, good dentist, Denny Salapak, phone number, everything. I wouldn't know why. But I tell you that because, you know, you guys are going to have things happen to you in this business. You know, setbacks, disappointments. You just got to laugh at it and keep on going, okay? And it's so important to have a dream and decide, you know, when I started this program, I was 19 years old. And, you know, when I saw Denny do that open back in 1982, it was right when I moved back to Columbus from Virginia Beach. And there were a lot of sharp people at that meeting. Professionals, you know, big-time execs, people that looked like $1 million. And I made the decision when I saw Denny do that open, that, hey, these people all have more on the ball than I do. They really do. But you know what? If I don't quit and I hang in and learn how the system works, I'm going to be there too. And I don't see a lot of those people that were at that meeting, okay, today. But I'm here. I'm going to be here, okay? And, I haven't gotten into my notes yet, okay? But anyway, hey, this is going to be quick tonight, okay? I don't believe in talking a long time. I just believe in giving you a real quick message, okay? And I'm going to lay out a few things here. But like I said, I saw this program in Virginia Beach. Had a guy cold contact me. Before I get into that, I got to say a few little things. I was starting my second year at Ohio State University, and I got a job selling books door to door, okay? And, I wanted to make money for school the next year, but the other thing I really wanted to do was go door to door and ask everybody I talked to, what should I major in college? Because I didn't know what I should major in. Okay, so I just made it here. Number one, I'm going to sell these guys some books. Number two, I'm going to learn what I should be majoring in. And you know what 90% of them said? Man, start your own business. That's what 90% of the people said. And later that summer, I saw the Amway business. So it just makes a lot of sense. I saw the plan from an Emerald director at the time, Terry Taylor. And I was going to these meetings in T-shirts. That's all I had, working down Virginia, old T-shirts. And just because I didn't bring my suit to Virginia Beach that summer because I was working door to door. But I bet they were very impressed with me, okay? But anyway. But, so I was 19 at the time, and shy, scared to death of people. John Sestina did a meeting in Dayton, and one of the guys in my downline was there at the meeting and said, yeah, we're in Stan's group. John says, I remember that guy. He used to ride with me, and he wouldn't say anything the whole trip except, thank you. And I ain't kidding you, folks. I used to, I had a hard time saying my name like now, okay, in front of a group of people. But you know what? To make $1 million, I'll learn how to talk to people, okay? And, some of you guys say, Stan, aren't you kind of like excited? Yes, I'm a very excited person. Why? I don't want to work all my life, okay? And it takes excitement to build this business, okay? Before this business, I'm not an excitable person. But if it takes excitement to build it, the Social Security Department says 98% of the people retire at 65, okay? Well, I'm 26 and I'm exhausted already. So I'm going to get excited to build this thing, okay? And let me tell you a few things why I used to be so shy and scared to death of people. For the first thing, if some of you were in school, I was the smallest kid in my class. Does anybody know what happens to the smallest kid in the whole school? Gets killed, okay? But anyway, so... That's about what happened. And when I was going through high school, I need to tell you this, it's real important to me. I was starting my senior year, and I was on the golf team. And all our lettermen from the year before had graduated. So I was the senior only letterman to come back, okay? So our team looked like, oh, God. You see how big I am, and I'm the leader, But you know what? We had a coach step in that believed in me and the sophomores, the freshmen, and the juniors that year. And we went to the state our senior year, broke 14 of the 16 existing records. Why? Because we were so good, we had a coach that believed we were going to, and we couldn't let him down. And the reason I tell you that is your sponsor, your upline direct, Danny and Linda, they believe in you, okay? And they believe that you can build this business, okay? And I'm so proud of some of the guys in my group that came all the way from Columbus tonight. And, they are a loyal crew of people. Just like I'm extremely loyal to my upline. And I'm proud of you guys that came all the way from Columbus tonight to come hear us chatter, okay? But anyway, okay, a few more things here I need to tell you about college. I started my second year in college after seeing the Amway business. And my first year of college I had a 1.6 average, okay? Now, the reason I did 1.6 was the last week of my first quarter, I really started working hard. 1.6, okay? And then, I kind of dove into it. I mean, all the way through school, when you're the smallest kid in the class, everybody picks on you, so I thought it was dumb. But the second quarter of college, I moved the 1.6 up to 3.1. And then the third quarter of college, I had a 3.75. You're right, I passed out too. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, and then I started my second year of college after seeing the Amway business. And I don't know, has anybody ever went to Ohio State before? Okay, great, fine institution. Well, I had seen the Amway business, and I said, you know what, I've been looking for this all my life. Let me ask you guys, didn't you always think there was something out there you were going to make it big in? Didn't you also have that in the back? You know, ever since I've been a little kid, I said, man, there's something out there. I don't know what, but there's something out there I'm going to make it big in. But anyway, so I saw the Amway business that summer. I started my second year of college. I had an 8 o'clock class. It was Econ 400, okay? And she was whipping these graphs on the board, you know. You say, no big deal. Yeah, it was no big deal. But it was, she was telling me how to do it in Japanese that I had trouble with, okay? And that's not funny unless you went to Ohio State. And that's kind of funny, okay? So I said, you know, I'm in the wrong place, okay? Number one, I hate graphs. Number two, I don't understand Japanese. Okay? But anyway, that next quarter, after seeing the Amway business, I had a 0.00 average. And, yeah, you think it's funny. You should saw my mom and dad. And, so anyway, so I was in the Amway business, okay? And I tell you, you know what, folks? You know what's funny about that story? I burnt my bridge when I was making zero money in Amway. I had 0 people sponsored. When I quit school, nobody told me to. I just decided to. Hey, I was successful in Amway at 0 PD, no people in, right at that, because I decided then, burn the ship, man, this is going to work. So how do you make the business work? You go to all the functions, tap into your upline, tapes, books, and it helps to show the plan every now and then. Okay, but let me tell you, I got sponsored, like I said, Virginia Beach, and my first meeting, these guys were coming 11 hours to do a meeting for me. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but I said, I gotta get somebody here. I mean, 11 hours? So I got on that phone, and hey, you know, it's funny, I've driven hours for people and they have nobody there. Hey, if I had gotten steel people, I mean, I was gonna have somebody there. These guys aren't gonna drive 11 hours for me and me not have anybody. So, you know, it's funny, I had 18 people there at my, the only meeting I've ever had done for me, and none of those people got in, okay? In fact, I went about 18 months and didn't sponsor anybody. Why? It was me, okay? You know, I used to show the plan to people and say, you don't want to do this, do you? No posture. You know, I'm so happy to be in the Amway business, okay? But, hey, the reason I'm telling you guys this, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Really. It's, I hope to tell you that I did open a couple weeks ago. I think we have about over 100 people there. I'm a little bit better than I used to be, okay? And I really need to say something to my downline. You know, you hear me stutter and stammer now. You should have saw me when I first started. I mean, some of these guys have had to live through my meetings, like Kirby and Kathee and George Michelle. God bless you guys. But really, a few more things here I need to tell you that I think might help. You know, see, I've been starting my 7th year in this program. You say, why is it taking you so long? Well, it took me about 4 years to develop a self-image, okay? And if you have one, it's no big deal. But if you don't have one, like a lot of people I know, you know, that took some work. And it took a lot of books, a lot of tapes. When I quit college, I got a real good job. Since I didn't have a college degree, I delivered pizzas, made $4 an hour, okay? And, but you know what I did, folks? I listened to tapes all day and all night. And, you know, it's funny, I worked at this restaurant. It's on a campus. It's called Papa Joe's. Some of you guys are familiar with that. But you know what's funny? I was making $4 an hour, and I worked there for probably 4 or 5 years. I'm going to break about 9 directs from that establishment. And you know what I mean? I mean, making $4 an hour, no success. I had a 1980 Honda, 2-ton blue and rust. And, you know, it's crazy. Real quick to you know, let me tell you how do you meet people, okay? I didn't know how to. In fact, I was in this thing about 9 months before I made a full contact. But anyway, one night, about 1:45 at night, I was delivering a pizza, and they said I needed to take it to the varsity club. That's another bar, okay? And I hate taking pizzas into bars, because you go in there and all these drunks say, there's the pizza boy and all this kind of stuff. Okay? So anyway, I delivered that pizza, and I came walking out, and this guy says, hey, that's a nice car. I said, that's not that you understand. What's wrong, what's wrong with this guy? But anyway, he said I had a nice car, so I let him sit in it. If you're building the Amway business, you know what I did there, okay? But anyway, I let him sit in it, and I said, I came to this magic point, folks, the magic moment that Paul Miller talks about. Do I get his name and number or not? And I did, and that's Kirby Morris today. Another guy, just to tell you, I called him about 40 or 50 times, okay, to get him to see a meeting. I hope you guys have never done that, but I did that, okay? And finally, I said, oh, flush this guy. He's just says, I am not going to get him to a meeting. And finally, the next, this was before Christmas. After Christmas, he called me back and said, hey, I want to see what you're doing. And at that time, I lived in a mobile home. And he had called once before, and he heard a girl answer, okay? So really, he called me and said he wanted to look at the business. He told me later the real reason he called was he wanted to see who I was living with. Which at that time, my sister was living with me. Okay, Daddy? I don't hear anything about that, but anyway. Anyway, so a guy called me back, and I took him to the meeting. He got real excited about the program. And I took him back home that night, and I took this guy's parking spot, had a black van, and Kurt pointed at the guy and said, I'm going to sponsor that dude next. And Kurt was killed a couple years ago in a head-on collision, and it was really a sorry sight, but that guy that he pointed to in the black van was George and Michelle Zavatsky, okay? And, it's the reason I'm telling you about this real quick, you just got to keep doing it, folks. And you're going to find the people. I had so many stories I could tell you about how I found our pins and different people. But also, where's Jeff up here? I got to get this guy up. He drove me here tonight. We had a little bit of difficulty. I'm very proud of me, and Jeff, how's it feel to be an ex-con? Feel pretty good? Good, no problem. But anyway, what do, Jeff? You just keep going, don't you? Keep doing it, buddy. And don't go over 55, though. But anyway, okay. When I started the business, everybody said no. My parents, they weren't excited about Amway after they saw my 0.00. No matter what I told them about John Sestina's, all the things he did, my 0.0 was what stood out in their minds, okay? But I'll tell you today, they are flat excited about the Amway business. They're in the use of products. You know what's kind of sad, folks? My father's 57. His get up and go has got up and gone, okay? And he's just holding on till he can retire at 65 to live on a quarter of what he can't make it on now. And it's just sad when I talk to him. His get up and go has got him gone. There's no future. Just hang in there to 65. And, so that motivates me. Every time I talk to my father, it motivates me to build this more. Okay? It really does. But anyway, I talked to my golf coach about the Amway business, and he was the second guy I talked to, and I really need to tell you this, okay? And I showed this to him. He kind of went like this. My in-laws were in this in Canada. They didn't make any money at it. And here I am. I am so shy and scared to death of people. Here's my hero telling me I just lost it. And a few months ago I got a bonus check for $22,000, and I just accidentally sent it in the mail to if he ever gets in the area, maybe you could give me a call. And he hasn't called me yet, so I don't know. But anyway, I didn't get that out, how to win friends and influence people. I shouldn't have did it, and I promise you it was an accident. Okay. But let me tell you another one, okay? But anyway, I tell you, you gotta hang loose in this program, okay? You know, for so long I took this thing so serious, and you know, I don't know about you guys, but I like to have a good time, don't you guys? I mean, you spent $1.50 tonight to get in, right? Don't you like to have a good time? And I felt like, when I started relaxing with this thing and smiling a little bit, having fun with it, other people like to be around, and it seemed to grow faster. For years, I was so serious about the Amway business that nobody got in with me. So I'm just telling you a few things I've learned over the past few years. And you know, it's kind of funny. I only today really remember the people that told me yes. I can't remember the people that told me no. Okay? When I get the 3% bonuses, hey, those people definitely said yes. And I was able to get a real big dream for me when I went profit sharing direct. And my good friend Jeff Rupp there, who is driving tonight, got to go with me. And I was able to get a Corvette. And you know, it's funny, folks, all the people that told me this thing wouldn't work and it wasn't worthwhile doing, none of them were there to help me pay for it. Okay? So you really need to remember that, because I'm sure everybody in this room has a dream of some kind. Are the people that tell you this thing is not worth it, are they going to help you pay for it? Are they going to take care of your parents? Are they going to take care of your family? When you're sick someday, are they going to send you checks for $500 a month? If they are, listen to them. If they're not, maybe I'll, you know, listen to Denny and Linda and your great upline. But anyway, a few more things here I got here. Let's see. I guess the biggest thing out of the business is I've got some self-esteem. I have a much better self-image, and it's getting better. And it's funny, my attitude is much better. I start my days, okay? Just like, you know, everybody has those days, okay? And best thing I can tell you, maybe if you have those days, don't answer the phone, okay? But I'm just kind of teasing you. But, you know, we all have bad times, right? And but I tell you, I've learned so much from this business. I love John, Bobby, Sistina. If it wouldn't be for them believing in me, I wouldn't be here, folks. And then I got to meet a hero, Denny Salapak. And Denny, I've also admired you, and it's an honor to be here. And I want to be with people like you, and you and Linda, and all the directs here too. The same goes for that, okay? And you know what I'm really looking for in life? I thought when I got in this program, I was looking for money. Okay, that's what I thought I was looking for. And then the more I got in, I thought, well, I'm looking for time. Yeah, I'm looking for that too. But you know what I'm really looking for? A few loyal friends that I can count on. Likewise, they can count on me. No matter what, Kirby and Kathee, whatever they need, money, time. You know, Kirby says, Stan, I need you. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to be there. He can count on me. Okay? And George and Michelle, I tell you, that couple, I am so happy for the way things are going for them, because they went to functions with me, and, you know, my bonus check that month would be $5, and I didn't keep all that, okay? They went to functions with me. I told them, man, hey, this thing's only 18 hours away. You're going to make it, you know what I mean? And they really believed me. And so, you know, I just really appreciate that. And I am, like I said, remember this, folks. How many friends do you really have, okay? I know you have a lot of them on Friday and Saturday night, but, you know, how many do you have on a Monday afternoon when you need some help, okay? And the more I see in this Amway business, I see people I can count on for the future. Likewise, they can count on me, and that is so important, okay? And, you know, the money's not bad either. And I tell you, just to let you know, future goals, I am really working on sponsoring people. That takes work, it takes effort, okay? But it's, you know, I just had a couple at a meeting last night. They are so excited. It reminds me of when I had that dumb excitement. I mean, I don't know anything, but I'm just so excited. You know what I mean? And that gets me excited, that new excitement level. And, let me ask you, how long has it been since you sponsored a new person? I did. That's what makes the business so much fun. Really does. And I want to thank you for your attention tonight. And it's such an honor to be in Denny and Linda's group. I tell you, you don't know how lucky you are. I mean, when I walked in, I saw a whole table of books and tapes. Man, it takes money to have all that stuff there. And, they love you enough to be able to do that for you. And I just think that's great, because that's where it's at. And that's it. I'm going to turn it back to Denny. But again, thank you.
It wouldn't have been there without you. And you put together a beautiful group of people. We're just starting to get to know them because they're coming on direct. And we are so proud of you guys. You guys really motivated us. And when we can return the favor, we're going to return the favor to you, because you guys have definitely inspired this group tonight. And we got that goal to get 1,000 for regional. And we know you guys are going to pack some of the numbers in yourselves. So we feel like we're just part of a big team. And this is the group, the whole Brit organization, and this is just a prime example of the strength of what we do. There's a lot of groups in Amway, but I was telling this meeting last night, I says, John Sestina hit it when he did that open here a while back. You hear something 50 times and you hear it again. John said, we just have a better system. If you have a better system, if you're just 1% better than what other people are doing, at the end of 10 years, you have a tremendously larger group, and we're not 1% better. We have a significantly better way of doing this business. And one of the things we have is just wonderful people like this who take a night. This has no financial impact on their business. I didn't even give them gas money, and I'm not bailing that dude out of jail. He got a speeding ticket. He was a bad boy. But no financial exchange or anything like that yet. You guys come in and help us. No, it's nothing. It's just this candy. But that's what it's all about. It's the system. It's the group. Build the group, then your group. So we love you guys. You guys, let's talk. We can hang around, get a cup of coffee or something like that. Whatever you guys want to do, we're up for it. If you guys want to meet Kirby and Kathee and the new directs over here, and Stan, we'll move out into the hallway there and help the janitor out. But you guys just did a fantastic job. We'll see you a couple Saturdays from now. All right, fantastic.